Democrats are always crafting a narrative. Right now, they want to make it seem that Joe Biden has officially won the election. That's why he's out there representing the office of the president-elect. But nothing's been finalized yet. But that's how they do it. They push a narrative, and with the help of traditional media outlets and the social media censors, they get away with it. Barack Obama did an interview with 60 Minutes that's airing today. And the only reason he's out there is to keep pushing the narrative. Trump is endangering our democracy by not conceding, he's going to tell us. Of course, he won't be asked why Hillary wasn't endangering our democracy when she gave Joe Biden this advice.
So we've got to have a massive legal operation, and I know the Biden campaign is working on that. We have to have poll workers, and I urge people who are able to be a poll worker. You know, Joe Biden should not concede under any circumstances, because I think this is going to drag out, and eventually I do believe he will win if we don't give an inch.
No Democrat will be asked about that. Not Hillary, not Biden. Or why don't they ask Obama about how much he knew about the narratives they created last presidential election around Russian collusion? We have the declassified notes from former CIA Director John Brennan that prove it was made up. And the notes were written after a meeting he had with Obama, so we know Obama knew about it. But the media won't ask Democrats any of these questions because they're working with Democrats. They have no interest in the truth because they're helping them create the narrative. In spite of the evidence that makes it absolutely clear, Democrats have gotten away with what they did to Trump in the first election, and they think they're going to get away with it in this election. That's what all this is about. Obama doesn't think our democracy is being delegitimized by Trump challenging the election. Obama's trying to delegitimize Trump's legal obligations to our country. Notice that they never say that what Trump's doing is illegal. How can you delegitimize our democracy by following the law and contesting an election result that frankly doesn't make any sense? Joe Biden's lifelong dream has been to become president. He's officially failed twice at it, but unofficially he's failed like 8 or 9 times. And now we're supposed to believe that he's achieved the most votes in history? A guy that barely campaigned? A guy that drew more Trump supporters to his rallies than his own supporters? It's just absurd. The narrative 4 years ago was that Trump colluded with Russia to steal the election. And without a bit of evidence, Democrats and their media repeated it over and over again. Now this year, the narrative is that elections are almost impossible to steal. It's so obvious that the narrative being pushed is as big of a lie this election as was Russian collusion the last election. We know that many Republican poll watchers were not allowed to do their duty. We know dead people voted. We know there were glitches in the computer systems. And we know that election laws were illegally changed by courts and governors. There are affidavits that swear to over 10,000 claims of voter fraud. And you know what an affidavit is, right? It's a sworn statement under oath. And if you get caught lying in an affidavit, it's called perjury, and it's a felony with up to 5 years in prison. Lying under oath ain't no joke. Now, here's a fun fact. During the primaries, Democrat candidates Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar were worried about vulnerabilities and shortcomings from our election technology industry. This is from Senator Warren's website. Quote, United States Senator Elizabeth Warren, member of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, Senator Amy Klobuchar, ranking member of the Senate Rules Committee, Senator Ron Wyden, ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, and Representative Mark Pocan sent letters to 3 private equity firms, McCarthy Group, Staples Street Capital Group, and HIG Capital, that reportedly own or have investments in the election technology vendors responsible for developing, manufacturing, and maintaining the vast majority of voting machines and software in the United States. In their letters, the lawmakers raised concerns about vulnerabilities and a lack of transparency in the election technology industry and the poor condition of voting machines and other election technology equipment. Unquote. That was at the end of last year. And just like that, they no longer have any concerns. But you know they would if Trump was the media's projected winner of this election. Joe Biden would be doing exactly what Hillary told him to do. But for some reason, if Trump takes Hillary's advice, we're supposed to believe he's delegitimizing our democracy. The narrative they're crafting is designed to shut down any debate on all the evidence we've seen of voter fraud. Evidence that points toward Democrats cheating in key swing states. It makes it seem like those are not just isolated incidences. It almost makes you wonder what Hillary knew when she said that Joe shouldn't concede under any circumstances. Is it because she knew they were going to be able to keep finding votes to count until Joe finally won? If Democrats like Obama are worried about delegitimizing our democracy, as he says, then they would push for total transparency. They would advocate for recounts. They would want Republican poll watchers to be allowed to watch the polls. And the fact that you don't have one Democrat out there saying any of these things makes me think that Trump's right. This could be the most fraudulent election in history. The Democrats doth protest too much, methinks. And that's the simple truth. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you want to become a supporting member of Blue Collar Logic, click on the link in the description and give what you can.